Hello and welcome, Mark Homer here for this short, pertinent budget update. The Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, has announced that stamp duty up to £500,000 is going to be dropped for all purchasers, including buy-to-let, including limited company purchases as well. The higher rates of stamp duty, the 3% that landlords pay and second homeowners pay, will still apply. However, if you're buying a £500,000 investment property, you will save about £15,000 now because the normal sort of underlying stamp duty rates have now disappeared. They are zero for a period of time just to get through this crisis. So I suspect this change will probably help put a little bit of a collar underneath the housing market, which is going to get tougher. Housing market is clearly moving forward apace at the moment. Transactions are going ahead very quickly. Sales volumes are increasing. However, I just can't see how this continues as furlough scheme winds down, as more unemployment starts to rise as we move through into the latter parts of the year. I think it's going to get tougher and tougher. I think there's going to be a lot more deals, but this stamp duty reduction is certainly a help, and it's going to offer a good opportunity. I think if you're wanting to buy deals, if you're wanting to buy single lets, HMOs, even serviced accommodation, I think there's going to be a golden opportunity to do that. Reduce stamp duty, and I think the purchase prices are going to be that much better. There's still lending there. There's still most of the investment lenders are still interested, maybe bar NatWest and a couple of others, but we're finding you can still get money for these sorts of deals. The Chancellor also announced that he is going to reduce VAT on food, on hospitality, so that would be hotel and leisure, and specifically within that, if you've got serviced accommodation or Airbnb type properties, instead of needing to charge 20% on the guest stay or the money that they pay to stay, you're going to be able to reduce that to 5% VAT, which is a big boost. You could either reduce the cost of your letting, or potentially you could just sort of add extra money on and make more from it if there's still demand, which I think at the moment for most people there is, because there's all this pent-up demand. People are being locked away and they're out there booking to go to different cities, to campsites, to hotels, to serviced accommodation, where I think demand has increased significantly as the lockdown has eased. In addition, you need to be thinking about your sort of bounce back loans and the CBILS loans, because that scheme will come to an end in November. So I'd want an application in probably by September. So maybe you've got sort of, I don't know, a couple of months to get that in. Those schemes will end. If you're trading properties, or you want development finance, some of the lenders have actually linked up with CBILS, and I know one or two lenders in particular who have combined CBILS with their own product to reduce the rate and potentially go slightly higher loan to value, which is very, very useful. So you need to sort of get out there, take advantage of those. You do need to make sure that the company that you're taking the loan into, at least 50% of it is operating a trading activity. So if you're buying and selling properties, or even if you're developing them and then transferring them when they're finished into another one of your companies, that's technically trading as well, but not for investment purposes where you're just holding and not transferring or selling them afterwards, or should I say the company should have at least 50% of its activities as trading. There are also likely in the next month or two to be new permitted development rights coming out on retail and other commercial use classes. So the high street is clearly taken a big hit through coronavirus. Coronavirus has accelerated what was happening anyway. Today, John Lewis have shut 8 stores. I think Boots are shutting another sort of 40, 50. There's a whole stack of restaurants being shut as well on the high street. That's only going to continue. In August, the furlough reduces. So we've got a situation where employers may have left people on furlough previously or up until now because they weren't having to pay anything necessarily to keep those employees. Now they're going to have to pay something. If their intention was never to bring those people back, then a lot of employers will choose now as the point to make those people redundant. I know the Chancellor's offering £1,000 if you retain them. That doesn't seem like a significant sort of draw, or it doesn't seem particularly persuasive to me. The whole sort of high street is going to have big holes in it. I'm starting to see it in Peterborough. The sort of reaction or the solution to this, according to central government, is new permitted development rights, which means that you won't require planning permission for retail, potentially. We have to look at the detail when it comes. You'll just go through a prior approval or prior notification process with the council, which is reduced. In addition, they say they're going to bring in new permitted development rights, which enable you to take commercial buildings, knock them down and rebuild residential buildings on the same footprint, as long as it's not in a conservation area and subject to some other criteria, which we're waiting to see. And in addition, the new criteria appeared the week before last on existing purpose-built apartment buildings above 3 floors, built between 1948 and 2018. You're going to be able to add 2 floors onto those. The legislation is here, it's specific. You can see, the council can consider amenity and light and overlooking and things like that. So it's not quite as good as the old office sort of PD, but it's certainly very positive, and I'm looking forward to the new one. So that's the budget and sort of governmental policy change update from Mark Homer. Over and out.